Thinking about this bread chase got me red-faced, got me all sorts of fucked up in my headspace. If you don't get it yet, you must be privileged. It don't affect you personally, that's the difference. Call me a hypocrite for how I'm living shit, knowing how the system is, but still I'm a participant. As white Americans, here is our inheritance. Centuries of power from generations of terrorists. Can't fix that with a conversation with the therapist. Your petty personal problems can't be compared with this. Military force opened up the doors for corporate interest to engine and plot their course. Divvy up the world and drain every resource. Dump our plastic trash in their backyards in heavy portions. Out of mind, out of sight, out of line, we oughta fight. But everybody got a reason why they ain't the problem, right? I wanna live to see the collapse of the middle class. Maybe that'll get some of these people off they little asses. Fuck a Republican and fuck a Democrat. Both push a global capitalistic agenda, fact, which also happens to be anti-black, misogynistic and stacked against everybody but white psychopaths. No amount of perceived peace, love and unity ends the oppression you can see in all this casual cruelty. Cause this is war that we're facing. We can't support this immoral occupation. We can't afford to ignore or be patient. We don't want the quid pro quo as the status enforced by the pig pork po. The fattest cat gets fed, but where the poor folk go? Where the poor folk go? Where the poor folk go? The fattest cat gets fed, but where the poor folk go? Where the poor folk go? Where the poor folk go? Cause this is war that we're facing. We can't support this immoral occupation. We can't afford to ignore or be patient. We can't afford to ignore or be patient. I'm a 21st century descendant of peasantry, in essence subsisting on a system of white supremacy, influencing culture based on a mythic, not scientific premise. We prove to be untrue, but it's endlessly propagated, subtle but sometimes it's blatant, pointed out in history but then denied, evaded. I wanna live to see it completely annihilated, like a lion ate it. I feel hopeless, like we're trapped in an Iron Maiden. That's just how I relate it. Then I get labeled contrarian for not being a good American, providing for the rich, denying the proletarian. I query and question. One of us will learn a lesson. Viewpoints invalid without the proper context. And vexing the most entitled, ignorant confession. I'm still both working to be a little bit less than. This is war that we're facing. We can't afford to ignore or be patient. We can't support this immoral occupation.